Hey there, old school gamers. Welcome back to Grumpy Old GMs, where we work to provide you the tools that you need to be the best GM you can be. Whether you like D&D, Pathfinder, Old School Essentials, Castles and Crusades, or whatever version of our game you like to play, or even if you're into superheroes, sci-fi, Call of Cthulhu, or any other genre, there are certain things that are common to game mastering, and we work to bring you those skills here. So today we're doing NPC Rolodex entry number 4, all the Freds in the Multiverse. This is a little lighter topic today. It's going to be short, little, it's kind of, you might even think of it as a joke or a gag topic, but it addresses something that's real. The ability to just come up with names when you need to. I've talked about NPC personalities and backstories and all sorts of ways to flesh them out as real people, but the name, it's an issue. So our friend on the Discord server, Mud Puppy, today, he brought this up already this morning on the Discord server. I thought this would be a beautiful little topic to talk about. So my old mentor, the guy that taught me how to GM when I was a teenager and a young 20-something in high school and college, he was a legendary game master in the game shop's basement and on Whiteman Air Force Base. He used to regularly attract like 20 people to his table, and these people would consistently come, and it would take an hour to get around one round of combat, and people didn't care because it was so cinematic. It was just so entertaining. It was just very funny and action-packed. Sometimes it was funny and comical. Sometimes it was action-packed. Sometimes people just died. Sometimes people just pulled off legendary dice roll stuff. But just to watch what other people were doing in combat was so entertaining that people didn't mind waiting their turn. But so this guy was legendary. Ron Watson, yeah, this episode is dedicated to Ron Watson if you're out there. But so he had this thing, legendary game master, but we used to joke about how many Freds there were in his universe. Because his method, instead of stopping the game or getting stuck, which those of you who've gamed with me, I really want my NPCs to be cool, and so I will actually stop and struggle to come up with a really cool name or search the internet for a really cool name or something. And Ron wouldn't do that. He'd just say Fred and move on. Or if it was a female and needed female, it'd be Frederica. So we used to joke about how many Freds there were. There were humans named Fred, there were elves named Fred, there were dragons named Fred, that was his solution, was that Fred was just for some mysterious magical reason the most common name in the multiverse. And he kept him straight. I mean, we knew, Fred the blacksmith in this village, and Fred the innkeeper over in this city over here, and Fred the dragon that had its lair in that mountain over there. Freds. Now, I'm not suggesting that you pick a name like Fred and start naming everything in your multiverse that name. These days, we've got ChatGPT. These days, internet searches are pretty fast. Usually what I do now, to be as fast as possible, is I will have websites ready with lists of like elven sounding names, human sounding names of this kind of culture, human sounding names of that kind of culture, dwarven sounding names, etc., etc., etc. And the trick that I found there is to make sure you write it down. I use a Remarkable 2. They don't send me any money to promote this. This is completely organic promotion. But even if you just use paper, whatever you do, just write it down, so that, because what's happened before to me, and some of you know this because you've been in my campaigns, is we've got this really cool, awesome name for an NPC, and I forget it by the next week. And sometimes other people remember, and I give them like bonus experience points for helping me DM and remember that. So write it down, because especially if you're pro GMing like me and you're doing more than 10 games a week, you're going to forget. Or even if you just have one casual game a week, life gets busy. You got your friends, you got your family, you got your job, you got stresses and pressures and stuff happens. So make sure you write that name down. All right, so I promised this one would be short, and it's kind of a little comical thing about Freds. I just decided to call all the Freds in the Multiverse NPC entry number 4. But if you like this stuff, like the content, we have a Patreon down below where you can actually get personal coaching from me or some other grumpy old GM like me to actually call you on Discord or on the phone and work with you personally on your campaign. There's spots open at our tables to actually play with us. That's down below as well. And until next time, I'll see you around the gaming table.